Hey, yo, tribe.
What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome to The Disconnect, where the reconnection is the dialect. I am Eyebee Knowing, and this is my co-host.
Yeah, J-No. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hey, with J-No go many, you hear me? You know what I'm saying? I may go New Orleans on them, you hear me?
Okay.
Say now, whoa, now we ready for the show now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We get through like juvie. You
like
400
juvie.
degrees over there.
Because it's finna be hot.
It's 400 degrees probably outside. That is probably hot. I know it's hot.
But it's about to be hot in here because what we about to do. You know?
I know, yeah. It's gonna get hot. It's gonna get hot, y'all. But if it's too hot, just bear with us. Stay in because this that good burn. We're gonna give you the good burn up in here.
Yeah. At the same time, you know what the motto is from now on. Man, fuck them people toes.
Fuck them people toes.
But before we start though, we definitely got to get a shout out to Voila Vodka.
Voila.
For putting it on, and if you drink it, make sure you drink it responsibly.
Yes,
make
absolutely.
sure you're doing your thing.
And look, we're not saying voila like magic, voila. We saying why lie.
Exactly.
That's what we saying. Why lie?
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, with no further ado, we're gonna talk about what the topic is.
We about to talk about how all these people out here trying to outwoke each other. Yeah. That's what we talking about. We're gonna touch on pretty much all different tribes and stuff. We're gonna talk about
different ideologies and all that stuff like that. You know, I know that, man. For me, you know what I've noticed when I first started kind of waking up to a lot of stuff that's going on. It was a lot of I started noticing after a while it was a lot of set tripping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Boys, it's like they gangbanging. We went from beefing over flags to beefing over books.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who ideology right, who spirituality practice right, and all that. And what's the truth? You know what I'm saying?
What are some of the people that what are some of the different ideologies that you kind of went through to get you to the place that you are today?
Okay, so first, just like most people in America, I started off as a Christian.
Okay.
I started off in the church, really breaking down the church, and then from that point on, as I started reading when I was 18,
right.
I'm reading for myself, and I'm reading about the Hebrews, I'm reading about
you started at 18? You started young. You started pretty young.
I started at 18, yeah.
Okay.
I was a freshman in college.
But dang, what year was that?
I got a few grades on me, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I splash it a little black, you know what I'm saying?
What's up, Crook?
So what's up to everybody on my live? If you got any comments that, if you want to throw it in there, you actually getting a live taping of the show today.
Absolutely,
so if you got something you want to say, let me know what it is.
So you started off Christian?
I started off Christian, grew up Baptist. Then from there we went to like Church of God in Christ. And then as I was reading the Bible for myself, even though they say lean not to your own understanding.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
As I'm reading and breaking down and I'm following the path of the Hebrews, I'm like, this us.
Yeah.
This us. That's why I was at the time. I'm like, this us. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at what a Garden of Eden was at and all that stuff like that. Talking about me and the land of Canaan. What they break down the river where it's at. And I'm like, that's West Africa.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Africa, And then from there, I just was kind of just like, let me see what else is up. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what else. Let me keep my mind open. So then I went kind of started studying under like the Muslims and stuff like that. I started studying, the belief stuff. Started looking into the Quran and stuff like that. Then kind of transitioned into the Torah and all that stuff like that, And then, about my junior year of college, sophomore year of college, I started looking into basically Kemet.
Right.
I had an ex that was needing some extra points for her school, for her grade from a professor. The professor had gave her a book. And the first book that I started to read was the book called Anthony T. Browder. By Anthony T. Browder. Called I forgot what it's called. The Browder Files. It's called the Browder Files. And then from there on, once I started reading the Browder Files, it really just, boom, because there was a lot of stuff I was still questioning.
Right.
I was still questioning. I was just like, man, it's not adding up.
Right.
It's not adding. The math ain't mathing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just started really just reading. And once that book, it opened up so much. So then I went from the Kemetic. I was into Kemetic spirituality for a good while. Good while. By that time, I started kind of going to social media. I was like, if I got to be people that think like I think.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I started kind of going there, trying to find out if was I alone. Am I in the dark of this? Then I started learning about other groups. Then I started learning about the Moors and stuff like that. And then when I went down to Atlanta, I actually started meeting a lot of brothers that was on the Moor science and all that stuff like that. And then kind of building from there. And then my growth, I just went to to each area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and took something with you.
Took something with me, right.
So I noticed you talked about, you said you started like this whole thing when you was 18.
Yeah.
This is like before Facebook and all of this stuff.
Right.
What was going on then? Like what social media?
So the thing is, Facebook had just started.
Oh, okay.
But it was only for colleges.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And at the time, it wasn't available to everybody else.
Right.
Like Facebook was so messy back then, but
Yeah.
it's
messy now,
yeah,
shit.
It is. Yeah. You knew, but it would tell you exactly what dorm room you can put your dorm room number and all that.
Yeah.
So we little homies be on there and oh man, she go here?
Yeah.
And boys be, putting people business out there. Yeah, they right there in Cardinal Village 1.
Yeah.
And so, but kind of, for me, my journey, there was no there was no memes.
Right.
There was no regurgitated memes to regurgitate. I had to really
actually read.
Actually read. You know what I'm saying? But truthfully, before even reading, everything to me came spiritually.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It would just hit me, and I'm just like, man, I would have these dreams, this and that, or just these visions, you know what I'm saying? And then I would just kind of then the backing was backed by the book. I'd be talking with somebody about it. They'd be like, oh, yeah, like that one book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how it was for me. And then it was just like, okay, yeah, like that book you said.
Yeah.
And then from there, it just was like, man, that's how mine started though. And just kind of going from there. Yeah.
Okay, well I pretty much started I always questioned. I started off in Christian background. I started Christian, just like most of us, like you said, most of America. We started off as being like Christians, and I went into different stuff, but I wasn't all the way like really diving into it. I always had questions though. It was like certain questions that I had that just wasn't making sense, and I was always taught that you're not supposed to question God. Don't question God. Like you said, don't lean into your own understanding. Don't question God. Even when I would have these questions, I would ask the pastors different questions. People that I really looked up to, I would ask them different questions, and they never had any answers. One day, I was on Facebook, and somebody added me to a page. They added me to this page, and on this page, they had different people from different walks of life, different religions, just different perspectives. And all these people were, because on Facebook, they could add you to groups.
Right.
Without your permission.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you'll get on there, and then you get to scrolling, and you start seeing some things in there that you didn't, so they could do that without your permission. But anyway, I started looking at some of the stuff that was on this page, and it was people that were having different debates about different religions, different perspectives, different walks of life. So for a time, I spent some time just really reading over everything that everybody was saying. And then as time went on, it was some stuff that was like kind of piquing my interest, and I felt like I had a, different perception that I could add to it. So I started commenting. And I started participating in some of these debates. I don't know who had added me. I don't know if it's somebody that's on here now. Whoever did that was like the best thing that ever happened to me, right?
Shout out to them, huh?
Shout out to them, right? So they added me to this page. I started participating in these different debates because like I said, I was of Christian faith. And I'm a great debater. Right?
Yeah.
I know I am. I know I should have went to law school or something, right? I know that I'm really good at debating. So even if you say something to make me stumble, I still know how to have a good comment. If you're not good at debating, you're really not going to win with me, right? Yeah. So I ended up getting into debates with all these different people, and they were saying stuff that was like kind of stumbling me. And later on in my free time, I'm like, is that true?
Yeah.
Is that true? Let me go see. Let me go research and see
if this
is dropping that seed, right? Yeah. So I'm like, man, a lot of the stuff that these people are saying is true. So it was kind of starting to kind of like answer like a lot of my questions, and that's why I kind of I was working at this place, the place that I was working at. I was surrounded by a lot of people that was from different walks of life. I don't even want to say what occupation this was. Well, a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about, but I was being introduced to like all these different things or whatever. But when it comes down to like, I didn't really get into Islam. A lot of people I noticed they turn from Christianity and they go straight to being a Muslim, like the Nation of Islam and stuff like that. Right. I never really got into that because I always really felt like, why would I leave one religious organization that's telling me how to think, how to feel, what to read, to go to something else. Right. So it's like I knew from the jump I was not going to jump out of the what they say from the pot
to the frying pan.
Pot to fry. Yeah. I knew off the jump I wasn't going to do that. So a lot of people was trying to recruit me to Islam, and you should read the Quran. You should this. I was like, nah, I'm just not. I just didn't really know which direction I really want to go, but I knew I didn't want to. I knew I didn't want to do that.
Right.
So for a long time, I was very angry when I started learning. When I started learning about the lies.
Yeah.
The lies.
Yeah, it is what it is.
The lies. I was really angry. I was like, what do I follow? What should I do? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? Who am I supposed to be following? Because I was so used to having a religious leader that could stand in front of the pulpit and tell us to turn to page this, turn to page that, read this or read that. So I was so used to having that. I was like, what should I believe in? And then that's when it set into me like, you know, you need to find your own answers like these people on. Because I was being very debative with a lot of the people that's on my Facebook page, because I was looking for somebody to say something that was going to be so profound to be like, you know what? You tripping. Everything that you was taught growing up wasn't a lie. You tripping.
Right.
This is this. And that is that. You tripping. But I could never find that. I would try to debate with pastors. I would try to debate with people that was following like the Muslim community and stuff like that. All these different. I was really trying to find somebody that was gonna tell me the answers that I was looking for. And then I later realized, I was like, why put all that energy into debating with these people when I could be using that same energy to gain this knowledge and learn from different perspectives. So that's what I ended up doing. That's why I'm at.
Yeah, that's how it was with Islam too. For me, Islam was kind of like a little brief Passover. I didn't necessarily go to a mosque or nothing like that.
Yeah.
I kind of just started reading on my own.
Right.
And stuff like that, and reading books.
But I did get into like the Kemeticism. I did start studying that. But let me tell you, I kind of got mixed up with that because it's so many different stories with that. I started trying to follow like the family tree, right? When you starting from the mother and the child and the father Horus and all of them, and it's like the names, and so I actually had a piece of paper
taking notes, huh?
Taking notes and try to go down. I'm like, what? Well, I'm like, well, this is that. And this is that. Well, who is this? If this is the son, and this how this the son, and this the daughter, and this and how this is her mother, and this is, it just was too confusing for me. So I just kind of got out of it.
Yeah, it's you know, it was not necessarily like actual figures, but the Neteru talking about the different principles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was the same way. You know, it's. You know, by it being the origin, I look at Kemet as the origin in terms of spirituality and stuff like that too. Yeah. You know, where everything else come from.
So look, people so for the people that's just not coming on, the topic today is all these different organizations trying to outwoke each other. Right? We spend a lot of time on all these social platforms, on social media, trying to outwoke each other. Well, that's not right. Well, this wrong. That's not set tripping.
Set tripping,
right?
Basically.
We all on here set tripping. These are different tribes and different, but it is really nothing new under the sun. Because even if you look at all these different gangs that get all these different tattoos and stuff that tattooed on them and stuff like that. These are really tribal tattoos.
Right.
That's something that we did back then too. Like we was broke off up in tribes and stuff like that. That ain't nothing new.
So let's go down the list.
Okay.
And we're gonna talk about the pros and the cons.
Okay, let's do it.
And it's your feelings. It's your feelings.
Okay, so what's the motto?
Man, fuck them people toes.
Fuck them people toes.
For real, that's what it gotta be in order for us to get there. Toes. You know, we can't half step with it. We gotta come with it.
We definitely about to come with it.
So, we got Hebrews.
Okay.
Moors. We're gonna give them a run the list right quick.
Moors,
5%ers, Islam, Pan-Africanism, Panthers, Christians, and just indigenous, you know, people that claim these different ideologies.
Right.
So let's we're gonna bring it to the top.
And make sure y'all comment, y'all. Like if y'all want to add anything, you know, to anything that we're saying, make sure y'all are commenting and reshare the page, right? So starting with the Hebrews, what would you say the pros are? Like what is the great things about, what is the attributes that they have?
Okay, so I got an opportunity when I was in Atlanta to go meet with Nasi and stuff like that, and you know he was pretty much heading the Hebrew Israelites around that time.
Okay.
The pros that I thought was that they were together, they were unified.
They are.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were a little bit separate from everybody else, but they were unified. They had their own community. They had their own bookstores. They had the mosque. They had restaurants. You know, and that was the pro. You know, so that's the pro of any type of religiosity. That in fact it does glue people together, and gel people together. Yeah. That's what I would say was a pro.
Yeah, it is, and it is a lot of togetherness. They very assertive.
Right.
They're very assertive. I think that's definitely a pro, because they're definitely, when you talk, if you ever spoke to a Hebrew Israelite, you would see how assertive in it. If you ever watch any of their live debates or you hear them talking on them street corners, they are very assertive.
Yeah, assertive, and so at the same time too, I believe that's a pro and that's a con.
It's definitely a pro and a con.
So you got to know when to turn it on.
Because there's assertive and then there's aggressive.
Right, and they be on that borderline aggressive.
And if you're offending people, then they're not gonna receive what you're talking about. I don't want to be offended. Like, if you are schooling me, well, I'm not gonna say not be offended, right? Because we just said fuck them people toes.
Yeah, fuck them people toes.
So we gonna we gonna offend, but I don't wanna be like up in your face.
Yeah. Like you about to attack.
I'm about to attack you. I'm gonna offend you. I'm gonna offend you with the truth, but I don't want to be, all up in your space, I'm being like you say, in attack mode.
Some people need to be.
They really do.
Out they slumber.
They really do.
Need to be shaking out they slumber.
They
do.
You
can just have casual conversation with and build with, and them boys don't have no gauge on that. Them boys
all
the time.
Yeah.
You know what
So that's what I would say about because every time I see them, they real aggressive.
They got that Slim Thug motto on that song.
What?
I say, if you offended and splendid, that whole shit I'ma end it. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't give it to me, why the should I lend it? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what they are.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
So I think that's the con,
Yeah.
Definitely of it.
Because you don't want to be you don't want to be aggressive. You just don't want to. I don't want to come off as aggressive. And if I ever came off aggressive to anybody when I'm trying to teach them something, I truly apologize. They would. And I don't think they really mean to be aggressive. I think they're just passionate.
Yeah, passion.
I think they're just passionate.
Definitely call it passionate. And by them, they're exclusive in a way. There's a pro and a con of that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're so exclusive that they won't connect with other organizations.
Yeah.
Now, I ain't gonna lie though, I'm starting to see a lot of more Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters that's starting to come more of a like, hey, welcome all type mindset. But first coming in through it, coming, starting off and just as it started kind of gaining prominence, they were just like, man, fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you ain't a Hebrew Israelite, we ain't dealing with you.
Yeah.
Like you consider they even, matter of fact, they even go by scripture to talk about look at you as basically like trying to think of the word in the Bible, like a Gentile.
Right.
The Jew, they look at you then as a Gentile.
Yeah.
No matter even if you this.
Yeah.
Or you ain't claiming Hebrew Israelite, you're a Gentile.
Yeah.
You cut
the
off.
others.
You the others, right.
Yeah.
We gotta cut you off.
Alienating.
Now. Alienating, you know what I'm saying? So that's the downside at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. We're moving past that.
Yeah, moving past it. Let's get down to them old Moors.
The Moors.
The Moors, yeah.
What would you say the pros are for the Moors?
Now, okay, so what I do, I'll say what I agree with and don't agree with at the same time too. If you look at, I do believe we are, before Pangea and all that stuff like that, for the ship, we descended some part of Northern Africa back into the Eastern Africa. Just by looking at, if you look at the facial features and the structure of like different Africans and stuff like that, you'll see that, there's difference in the features basically based on the land. Right. It's a known scientific fact that if you've been in any area, say like by the time you're third generation, they're gonna start to look like the landmass. So if you live in the mountains, by the time your grandkids, you have grandkids, their noses already will start to thin. Their hair will become a little bit thinner. They'll already start kind of adapting, you know what I'm saying?
To that environment.
To that environment, right. So if you look at a lot of the Northern Africans and stuff like that, the features are similar, you know what I mean, in some ways, So I agree that there may have been a migration at some point to where we was at, you know what I mean, before the shift, because they look at America as being indigenous too. So, you got El and you got Bay. Right. So they consider themselves also indigenous too. Right. To America. Right. So I agree in that aspect, you know what I mean? Yeah. The cons I would say is that them niggas is overly lawful. Yeah. I actually bought a book that was basically talking about the old treaties, and it was a book by this thick. It had all the treaties that the Moors had signed with America in agreement that they had agreed with. But it's like, bruh, treaties and pacts get broken every day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So what the treaty was, that don't mean them folks gonna be obligated to stand on their treaty. They don't care about that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think they can be a little bit too lawful.
Yeah.
They think, oh, well, as long as I know this and the law, this and that, and I'm gonna get away with this. And I've seen some cases where it worked, but that ain't gonna work in every case.
Yeah.
When somebody want what they want, they gonna get what they want.
Well, and then even to add on to what you're saying, so lawful to where you feel like you could beat these people at their own system.
Right.
Instead of coming out of the system.
Right.
And forming your own system. You're not about to beat these people at their own system. The system was not designed for you.
It wasn't designed for your benefit.
It wasn't designed for your benefit. So even trying to like slip through these loopholes and stuff like that, like you say, sometime it'll work and sometime it won't. But how about just coming completely out of the system, if I could even say that, because I don't want them to feel like I'm trying to form a hint.
Yeah. That part. Yeah, that part.
Maybe. But anyway, but just coming out of the system, like how you trying to beat the person that designed the game at their own game. It's basically what I'm saying.
Right.
So
because they're just gonna revamp and rewrite the rules.
They're just gonna revamp and write and that's the same thing I said without saying too much. It's some agencies out there when you talking about like the prison systems and stuff like that, like all these different things. They form these different policies and rules, and then they turn around and they break them themselves, and they use them to slip through the loopholes or whatever to work out in their favor.
You know the key word, the root word. When I look at rules, I look at the word ruler and how they go together.
Yeah.
See, the rules wasn't for the ruler,
right?
You know right. The rules was for the people.
For y'all.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Y'all niggas.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all niggas.
Y'all niggas. Yeah. That's definitely.
The rules is for the ruler.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For the people, not for the ruler. You know, the king gonna do what the king see fit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's in the monarchy, in a monarch system, but in today's system, the same thing applies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
In this system, they the king.
Yeah.
They're gonna do what they see fit.
They're gonna do what they see fit. And they're gonna break their own rules. They're gonna break their own policies to fit them, and nothing really never happens.
So sorry, my Moorish brothers. I rock with y'all. I love y'all. But truth be told, I think sometimes y'all be a little bit delusional.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna just say the Moors. I believe every organization there's a little bit of delusion
it is.
in every organization.
And that's what we talked about the last time. It's called religiosity.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
sometimes, you know. So moving on to the 5%ers.
Peace, God. Peace, God.
Peace to the 5%ers.
Yeah, peace, Earth.
I actually have a whole lot of things that I agree with the 5%ers. One would probably listen to me talking, be like, she must be a 5%. I get that a lot. I get people, which I don't subscribe to neither group, to no particular group of people, because I take something from everything. Right. Somebody was telling me just recently, well, that mean you're not standing on nothing. If you all over the place, that means you're not standing on nothing. I'm like, no, because the same terminology that I always use, well, not terminology, but the same analogy that I always use. The lens. Camera 1, 2, and 3. I want to look at camera 1, 2, and 3. I don't want to subscribe just to one camera and just to one perspective. I want to see the whole building.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Should have told them niggas I'm standing on business. What you talking about?
Yeah, I'm standing on, Because that's like me and you. Oh, I'm spitting. Oh, y'all saw that?
Daffy.
That's that's like me and you getting into an altercation, and then the police show up. Oh, this do happen. But anyway, the police.
Bad example.
Bad example. But the police show up and they get my side of the story, and they like, oh, F his side of the story. This what happened. We gonna roll with what she said. That's wrong.
Right, that's the problem.
You should hear our perspectives. Like, you should hear our perspective. But anyway, I do agree with a lot of things that the 5%ers say. I think that the 5%ers are that's the pros. They're very knowledgeable about things that's going on, like up at top with the elites and different things and different ways that you can slip, what we was talking about earlier, through the loopholes and get these different benefits and stuff like that. But they really keep a lot of this information in their own little circle in their community. They keep it to themselves. Right. And that's the cons of it.
Yeah. Matter of fact, shout out to my kinfolk, EJ, man. He when he first got out, he was putting me on the 5% knowledge. So that was around that time when I was talking about earlier in my transition. That was one of the other little phases I walked, through my walk that I went through and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was hard on it. Peace, God.
But it's like, why are they so secretive with this knowledge that they have?
Yeah, it reminds me of a couple secret societies.
A couple secret societies. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and it's and it's hard for me. It's hard for me to say. Oh, thank you, Andrew. It's hard for me to say certain things because I don't want to. But I'm gonna have to start saying it. Fuck them people toes.
Fuck them people toes.
Fuck them people toes.
Yeah, for real. That's the new motto.
But it's like, but why be so secretive though? Like, even all these different secret societies. You got this information. You got that. I get that certain knowledge should not fall into the hands of certain people. I do get that aspect of it, right? But to be talking like you trying to put this person on and put that person on or whatever. Because my thing is this. I see this a lot, and I see this a lot. A person will take you under their coattail, and they'll show you X, Y, and Z. They want to show you these things, but they still want to keep you under them. Yeah. Under them.
Ego. We know what it is. It's ego.
I don't like that.
Make them feel good. Like, this is my son. This my little.
That's my little protege right there.
My little OG. My little YG.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier. Yeah. This is my YG.
Yeah. Like don't do that. If you want to teach somebody. And you want to bring them in and teach them or whatever, and then you want to get in your feelings if they end up, surpassing you and stuff like that, then you didn't really have any great intentions to begin with. I'm not saying this about our 5%ers, but I'm just saying they have a lot of knowledge, but they like to keep a lot to themselves.
So I guess I kind of want to chime in on what you're talking about. I talk about some pros and cons to moving, the secret society type order,
Right.
And actually in Kemet, it pretty much how it was. It was pretty much what they call the mystery schools and stuff like that. So I see the point in essence if you're being active. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say the con, but I feel like with the 5%ers, I don't feel like they're being active as a collective.
Right.
You know what I mean? While the knowledge is good and the meat is good, I don't feel like that. At least
but that's part of being secretive. That's what I'm saying. That's part of, they're not being active as a collective because they talk about the 85% being ignorant, right? And they talk about the 10% that's benefiting from the ignorance of the 85%. And then they are the 5% that knows about it, right? Yeah. But not being active is part of the reason because they still benefiting. It's like, I know what the 10% know and I'm benefiting from it over here, but I ain't for the put y'all on. Yeah. I'm not for the put y'all on because I'm gonna it's like I just have the knowledge and I'm gonna just keep it to myself, but instead of putting the 85% on to the knowledge too to bring the whole system down.
Yeah. And see, I think too, them not being active is due to lack of leadership too. I think that they're more kind of a loose organization now.
Right.
Back then, I can't remember the brother name. If y'all know, chime in. I might misquote his name. I believe it was like Clarence X or something like that, who kind of started. So it kind of back to the other episode that we spoke about. Once that leadership falls, the whole thing, it just kind of, it dissipates. It just spreads out. It's everywhere, like particles. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I think that's a part of the good reason too, because they don't have no strong like this is our leader. This is who we, and the brother's putting out this, and he got us going this, and we doing this, and we doing that now. So it's just like this little loose set over here, and let me shine, and let me keep it secretive, and let me ego flex, and let me
do this.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's kind of gotten to that point. You know what I mean?
So Alexander Preston, she said, I think you might be omnis. I consider myself omnis.
Yeah,
you see truth in all things. I do, Alex. I do. I really do.
Yeah, that was the name. Yeah, it's what it's called, omnis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly what it is. Yeah. So
thank you, Alex. Thank you.
Good clarification. Shout him out, man. Yeah,
thank you, Alex.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah, that's what's up. That's dope. I think that's the issue though with the 5%. That's the cons. Yeah. So want to move on?
Yeah, let's go to Islam. Our Islam brothers.
So the 5%ers, to me, they kind of have a little correlation with Islam too.
Yeah, they do.
They're Islam based.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I think the pros of Islam is that these brothers is organized and structured. And sisters too, like they've done a lot in terms of getting people off of drugs in the community. They big on that on eating right,
Yeah.
eating healthier foods and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that stands out over the other organizations, you know, in terms of eating correctly.
Yeah, because they definitely follow the Old Testament when they was talking about don't eat this and don't eat that and you shouldn't eat that. They definitely very knowledgeable about stuff like that.
Right, you know, and they big on like they strong in what they believe in. It's they stand on it. You know what I mean? They really stand on it. You know, I can't say every other organization stand on it like they stand on it. You know what I mean?
And we should. We should.
You know, and I would say when I say stand on it, I mean like if I was to basically put like what a percentage wise,
right,
for the brothers that claim Islam, I would give it a high percentage, like 80%, 75% actually standing on it.
Yeah.
Just like say for example, like in Christianity or something like that. It's I mean, of course, that is a wider religion. You know what I'm saying? So you are gonna have less people that's kind of just doing it by title because they was born into it and raised into it. I would say that would probably have like a smaller percentage of people that just actually stand. You know, it's just
because you ain't finna get no Islam person no pork. They for real about that.
For real about that, yeah.
They for real. They not fist you could like. And let me tell you something. I didn't seen brothers even on the inside where they would have pork. You put that pork, and this is a person that's in a situation of scarcity. Like they don't have very many options. If you put some pork on this person's plate, they are not going to eat their pork. They'll starve before they eat something that's not, you know, lined up with what they are supposed to be eating. They rather starve than to do that. They really stand on that. They really do stand on that.
Right.
So somebody said, Net Breeze said it's a hierarchy and they don't want you to know. That is absolutely true. She was referring to
the 5%.
The 5%ers. That's true. That's absolutely true. Drew B. Riviera said, "Tell bro to speak more into the mic."
Oh well, I think it's because I'm
Thank
far
you.
away from the camera, but
far away from the camera. Oh yeah. So that's yeah. So because I got my camera on and he got his camera on over there.
But I will.
We was trying to merge them, you know, together. We gonna figure this out, y'all. Y'all help us out. We gonna please put some stuff in the in the comments. We gonna figure it all out. We gonna figure it all out.
Yes, indeed. So let's get down to the con of Islam. I think that it kind of goes to similar to the Hebrew Israelites. It's a lot of separatism.
Yeah.
You know, like I know a lot of people Islam. Like if you ain't Islam,
you ain't that.
Yeah, we ain't rocking with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they separate even in the inside of it because I heard somebody say, you got to pray to the east. If you're not praying in a certain direction, then you're not praying the correct way.
Right.
You got to pray in a certain direction. A certain time of day is something about which direction the sun is setting or rising and stuff like that. So a lot of people, I would say, as far as like that, like it's a separation just within them too.
Right.
Yeah.
So we talking about more like black Muslims or just Muslims in general?
It's black Muslims that I hear saying that.
Okay.
I hear them saying. Did you know that? Did you ever hear anything of anybody saying that? You have to pray in a certain direction.
Yeah. I've heard they got to pray in a certain direction. Yeah. I assumed that they all did though. I know they do have different factions and different like little. I'm gonna say denominations for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Kind of going off a Christian base.
Yeah.
You know, philosophy, but I know they got different denominations. You got Sunni Muslim and you know, and stuff like that. You got ones where they wear the full hijab, full wrapped up.
Yeah.
And you got some that don't. Like when I was in Philly, boy, it's a lot of black Muslims in Philly.
Really?
Like you see, like talking about the women are fully wrapped. All you see is this here.
Yeah.
Everything is covered from head to
Yeah.
toe. You know, that was the first.
They for real about it.
All the brothers is big, thick, full beards. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
They for real about it in Philly. Yeah. You know, so that was kind of a culture shock for me.
Yeah.
Being in Philly.
Yeah.
Like, it's real.
Yeah.
Like, it's real. And I just happened at the time had my beard was kind of fuller.
Yeah.
So I just kind of
blended in.
Yeah,
you do look like you from.
No.
You do kind of look like one of them people, man. You look like one. That's our people, though. That's our cousins over there.
You know what I'm saying?
That's our cousins over there.
Yeah, most definitely.
From the sands. Over there from the sands, you know.
Yeah. So you want to slide on the next one?
We can slide to the
Pan-Africanism. Now, I'm an artist. I'm a little bit sensitive about my Pan-Africanism.
Nah. Sensitive? Oh, man.
I'm not.
So as far as like Pan-Africanism, I would say, I don't know, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay, I'm
for
gonna go
the
ahead
pros.
For the pros, okay. So I'm gonna go with the pros, and I'm gonna chime in on some cons with you too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I said, I like to think outside of the box and step out. In order to build and grow, you gotta look at stuff from the outside.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes. So the pros is that I believe is that they want to connect with everybody across the globe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Global connection. And I think that's beautiful. That's wonderful. That's the only way we, in terms of e-commerce and stuff like that and collectible.
But you know what? That's the way it was originally anyway.
Yeah.
That's why before they pulled up here, it was already black people here. We was already connecting globally because they was talking about the corn and stuff way in Africa.
Right.
What did they call the corn? It was called maize. They was talking about the maize. So they had, corn grows here in America.
And for y'all to just a little tidbit, corn is genetically modified. Corn ain't supposed to be yellow like that. But we're gonna continue on with the show.
Right. So corn, which is maize, right? Corn is maize. That's the same thing. But it grows here in America. It does not grow in Africa. So when they find
a lot of the Moors, they was shipping it back and forth.
They was shipping it back and forth. So we was already doing it.
Doing it, right. So I agree with that. I think that's dope, and that that's to return back to that original state is something that we need to do. So I agree with that in terms of Pan-Africanism.
Right. So that's the pros.
That's the pros.
The cons.
The cons, and we ain't talking about that store that sell washing
cons.
machines.
They'll call y'all at your job, boy. They'll call you at your hey, you behind on your bill. We could work something out for you. They some gangsters.
Yeah, just like this here, yeah.
But the cons of Pan-Africanism is they all want us to go back to Africa. Why go back to Africa? We need to fix what's over here.
Right.
We need to fix what's going on over here. Go and even saying go back to Africa, like we're from Africa.
Everybody not from there.
Everybody not from Africa.
Right. I mean, it's even been historically shown that them boats wasn't gonna be able to make that.
Let me tell you something. When I first walked away from all of this, and I went into studying the Kemeticism and all these different stuff. Like I told you, I tried. I don't know for the life of me why I thought that, because I am a person that actually had the luxury of meeting my great grandparents. Right, I actually met both of my great grandparents, my great grandmother and my great grandfather. As a matter of fact, I used to go to her house every weekend, and I knew this woman was full-blooded Indian. So why did I fall for this whole we are African thing? I guess it was just I don't know. I guess I just wasn't thinking clearly. But most of us, if you talk to, I always say slow connection. Most of us, if you talk to your grandparents or your great grandparents, or you really go down the line, most of them will tell you that they was Indian. And even back in the 90s, if you call somebody African, like in the 90s or the early, you call a black person an African, that was a fight.
Yeah, that'd be a
fight. They about to beat your ass. And so
African booty scratcher.
African, but that's where that come from. So that whole saying, that whole joke. I ain't from Africa, you from Africa, you African booty scratcher. That was so offensive to say that a person was from Africa. They'll beat your ass for saying that because these people knew that they were Indians. Right. They knew that. They were the Native Americans. So anyway, just to kind of get into that. So I'll go back to Africa.
Right. So like I said, I believe a percentage of people in America percentage of our people are from Africa. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To what extent and what percent, we don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I believe there's a percent of us that are indigenous.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So because there's some brothers I can look at their features and be like, yeah, you got some strong African features. Yeah, you got African features. In my family, like my grandfather, his tribe was the Boga tribe. Now, this is an actual tribe in Louisiana, and they built mounds for the deceased that passed, and I can actually go there and see the mounds, and I can see all my kinfolk, and they like this. So that, for me, was an eye-opener. Matter of fact, I even, on my Social Security card, like I mentioned off air, is actually red, so it's actually filed as indigenous.
Okay.
Even in my mother's side, which is still my grandfather. But my grandmother, they pretty much, there's a lot of Cherokee Indians and stuff like that.
Okay.
And my grandmother she pretty much had silky hair that was down to her back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Same way with my mother, her hair was all the way down to her back.
Yeah.
As a child and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And even if you look at my facial hair, my hair is straight.
Right.
All the time. So a lot of my family are indigenous, and I've met family that's from Tyler, Texas, and stuff like that, who have gray eyes and stuff like that. And stuff like that. And they are different.
And it's the same way with my family. So I was like, I don't know why. I don't know why. I guess it was just the waking up. I guess it's just a part of the
part of the phases, the learning
part of the phases. But
I
was happy to know that because it's still all of us. It's still a part of us.
Right. Right.
You know?
We still are connected.
We all
Most
connected.
definitely.
We all connected.
So I think we can move on.
Moving on to my Christian brothers and sisters.
We're going to skip the Panthers?
Oh, we did skip the Panthers, huh?
Yeah, so you just want to...
I know, just want to... Yeah, my bad. Okay, oh, yeah. Yeah, game banging on... I'm game banging. Like, I'm like...
Oh, we're going to leave them buttons out.
The Panthers.
Right, so, about the Panthers, I think the pros of the Panthers is that they did a lot.
They created a lot of organizations that we use today.
They did. So they created so many organizations. They were so deeply rooted that even after the CIA took them out, that they had to still implement those organizations because they know that pretty much that would create a mortar type effect.
But they still try to delete them like they're not the ones that created it.
They created it, right. So
and then they're benefiting from what they created.
Right. So
don't that sound about... That's about right.
Right. So if any of y'all have ever had WIC, which is it stands for woman, infant, child. Mm-hmm. That's what it stands for. That actually came directly from the
Black
Panthers.
Panthers, yeah.
So and if you ever had free lunch at your school, that also comes from the Black Panthers. So or any type of reduced lunch. So that's why we now have in our school systems free lunch and stuff like that.
Right.
But because of them.
Right.
So they actually did as a political party, they actually did make some impact.
Yeah, they did.
You know what I mean?
They did.
That what I would say the pros is, and they were nationwide. You know what I mean? Not even just nationwide, they would actually connect internationally too. Yeah. And stuff like that. So they were becoming too big of a, concern. Yeah. Because they wanted to keep everything Democratic Republican. Yeah. Basically, you know what I mean?
But when I was trying to think of a con for the Black Panthers, I couldn't really think of nothing other than them being infiltrated from the inside. But who wasn't infiltrated from the inside?
Right.
I couldn't really think of very much of just a con for the Black Panthers.
Right. It's like the cons you could use, but it's like it's almost inevitable. You can say maybe they should have been more overt or covert. Maybe they should have been more secretive. You know what I mean? But they wouldn't have been able to grow as big as they did. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like it goes back and forth with them. I really don't have a solid con for them.
I don't. It's kind of like, I don't know, because we benefiting from everything that they did.
I got one. Yeah, I got one that's not more of a con, but more of just. I feel like they were being delusional at that they could actually establish Black nationalism. That you can create nationalism within a country. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think I kind of just jumped around a little bit, but yeah. but the idea that they could establish that, you know what I'm saying, that's kind of being delusional. Yeah. Like, why would somebody just let you come in and just
do that?
And just do that, right?
If they already got their own little thing going.
System, yeah.
But they didn't necessarily. Well, they was ready to go to war. Yeah. Behind it, so really, I think their plan would have been effective if people would have had enough kahunas to join in with them. Yeah. And push this thing through. So that's what it was, because the same thing, like kind of what Black folks do today. If they see some police brutality or something taking place in their neighborhood and somebody's beating up somebody's son, the first thing they're going to do before they jump in to try to help that young man, they're going to pull out their phone. They're going to pull out their phone and start recording. And this is what we got bad in the Black community. Right. So I think the Black Panthers, I think they could have been which they was effective, because I ain't taking nothing from them. But all the other plans that they tried to push through, if the Black community would have got on board and really seen it through with them. Because a lot of these people, a lot of us be trying to fight for people that don't give a damn. Yeah. True. That's not really a con on them. I think that goes to I think that's the Black community failed. I think the Black community failed the Black Panthers. That's what I want to say.
That's heavy.
I would say that. I'm comfortable. I'm going to sit in that. I feel like the Black community failed the Black Panthers because they pushed a lot of stuff through. They was fighting for Black people, different type of organizations to come out of there, and the nationalism, right? Right. And Black people were so goddamn scared.
But what about them people toes, though?
Fuck them people toes. Say, fuck them people toes. I'm on that. Yeah. I'm on that. The Black community failed the Black Panthers because we should have been behind them. Yeah. We really should have. So it's like now people get in trouble. They get into all these different chaos and stuff like that. Like, oh, we want to call the Black Panther Party. They pull up, but it's like they not really pulling up like they used to because them people, they tired. Yeah. They tired of fighting for people that don't give a damn. Right. Right. You know?
True. Facts.
So I would say that's the con. I don't know, because I can't really think of nothing.
Yeah. So let's mosey along.
So Christians.
Oh, it's finna get real sensitive now.
It's gonna get. I got about you. My Christian family. I love y'all. I love y'all so much. But we about to have a conversation. Come on in here.
It's about to get
Come on in here and see.
Tender.
It's gonna get real tender.
Yeah.
Net Bree say, united we stand, divided we fall. You right.
Yes, indeed.
You right. You absolutely right. So, the pros of the Christians, the pros. Y'all are devoted. Even with saying y'all, I almost want to say we, because I was a part of it.
Yeah.
And I still took a piece with me. Whatever walk of life that I went through, I took a piece with me. So, I don't mean it like y'all. I was a part of it, and it's a piece of y'all that's still in me.
I would say massive too.
Massive. Oh yeah.
It's massive because it is a huge amount of folks
Christians are global. Christians are global. I just seen a map just recently, as I was telling you on off the air, where they were putting everything in perspective, like globally. Like this religion over here, and it was color coded.
Yeah.
And the Christians covered almost the whole globe.
Wow.
And so growing up in the Christian background, they would tell you, if you a Christian, when they come down to the end days and stuff like that, and you tell them that you a Christian, they'll chop your head off. Because they don't want you to be a Christian, this, and that. They'll behead you like during the rapture. Like when the Antichrist come and you say that you a Christian, they're going to be chopping your head off. You better get into the Bible. They're going to be taking the Bible, this and that. But come to find out, when I came out of that, most of the world is ran off a Christian base and Christian structure. The government is ran off a Christian. Right. Alexandra said the government wasn't going to allow the Panthers. They wasn't going to allow the Panthers. They did all they could at the time. That's true. Yeah. I agree with that. But as far as with the Christians, I said what I said. That's how I feel.
Yeah. So I think the con is kind of going into what you're saying is the fact that the turn the other cheek ideology.
Yeah, definitely.
While turn the other cheek is in the Bible, there are also other cases in the Bible where God said, hey, go hard. Yeah. Go hard. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The fact that when he said, hey, go into this land and conquer these people. Yeah. That's warrior
and be
mode.
Aggressive.
Yeah, and be aggressive. He's saying go beast mode. Yeah. Go ham. Yeah. So the fact, I feel like a lot of Christians don't know when to turn it off and on. Yeah. It's too much turning the cheek.
But it's like turn the cheek. And if you feel like Jesus died for all your sins, you ain't gotta do all that turn the other cheek no more. Jesus did that for you. Right. I'm not turning no other cheek.
And I mean, and it's parts in the Bible where even with Jesus was aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And people don't know that. They don't understand that. When, the example I used earlier is like when he turned over the table. Yeah. First off, just imagine today, you walk up on somebody's dice game. Yeah. And you just turn everything over on the table. You know what Jesus said? What the money said.
Them people toes.
Yeah, he said, them people toes. Then he said, woe unto you. Yeah. Woe unto you. That's old language. Most people don't understand what woe unto you mean. Yeah. Woe unto you is kind of similar, like, man, dang all y'all, curse all y'all, if all y'all. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So in the church right there, he said, man, woe unto you.
So he just flipped the whole table.
Flipped the whole table. That was considered cursing. In their time, like in our time, what I'm saying? We said if we dropped the F-bomb, whatever, it's like, man, woe unto you. Yeah. Like, all y'all. Then what he did, chased them around, right? Yeah. Chased them around, swinging, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's a perfect example of being aggressive when needed. You know what I mean?
It's a time to be peaceful, and it's a time to go to war. That's why I tell people, if somebody ever tell you I was great to them, believe them. If somebody ever tell you I was their worst nightmare, believe them, because I'm both of them. Right. I'm both of them. I'm peaceful, but I'm a warrior. I'm a peaceful warrior, and that's what I'm gonna forever be. I'm not gonna, I'm not turning the other cheek. I'm just not turning the other cheek. So yeah, Christians, y'all gotta, that turn the other cheek stuff you gotta stop that. You gotta stop that, because this is another thing too that's making them be so forgiving of the leaders that's leading them astray.
Right.
He can basically just walk up to the altar and give his life to Christ, and everything is forgiven.
Right. And
he didn't change at all. Like a lot of people be really believing it. Like they can just walk up to the altar for the altar call and repent and be washed away with all their sins or whatever. And this person is just, we could trust them again. No.
Right.
No.
Not at all. Not at all, Cletus.
No.
Cletus. No.
So that's definitely that's the con for me.
I agree. I agree.
So moving past that,
let's get to this indigenous.
Let's talk about the indigenous, the Native Americans, the people that's indigenous here, the Indians. I don't what else they want to call them.
Yeah, all that. Aboriginal. No.
Aboriginal.
That's more like
the people from Turtle Island.
Yeah.
Here. This is Turtle Island.
Ellen Bay. Same time.
Yeah. Americana.
Yeah.
You know.
So
well.
Yeah.
I think okay, so the pros are they were loving people. They were so loving. And even when the others came over here, they were so loving to where they welcomed them in with open arms, taught them how to live here. Well, these are the things that you could grow over here in this climate. You know, right. And this is how you could do this. And we taught them everything. It's like we taught them how to infiltrate us and bring us down. We gave them all our secrets because we were such loving people. And we wasn't foreign to that because, of course, like I said, like we both said, they've been doing this from people from different continents and stuff. They would come together and buy, sell, and trade and stuff. So this was no different. This is how they looked at these Europeans when they came over here. They probably thought that this was going to be like a fair trade, like something, not knowing, okay, so this is going to be our last fair trade that's going to come across the seas and come over here and we going to just work together. These people about to really come over here and take over. They was looking at it like they was coming just out of love, but they was coming on some whole other shit.
Right. I like the way you broke that down, the thought process.
Yeah.
You just really brought something to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because I kept asking myself, why or how? You know what I mean? And I think that same thing that's happened globally. I was like, come on in. You know, we're going to trade. We're going to this.
That's what they thought. You know? That's what they thought. And while you over here, that's the same thing somebody come to your house. You got company, somebody come to your house, and they get ready to go to sleep. Oh, look, they got some blankets up in here in the closet over here. And if you need an extra pillow, you need an extra pillow? You need something? You need something to do this? Is it too cold up in here? Are you okay? Hey, they got some waters up in here in the refrigerator. I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna show some hospitality. I'm gonna teach you how to, be comfortable in here. I want you to be comfortable. You here visiting? I want you to be comfortable, and that's what we did. But then what they did was they got comfortable and they slept on the couch and they drank the bottled waters and they ate and they helped themselves to everything. And then when they left, they came back and they loaded up in the van and they came back and they drew down on our ass like. Bam! Put your hands up. This my shit. I'm coming. This.
Right.
That's what happened.
Yeah, basically, and say, hey,
that's what happened.
The master bedroom, my bedroom.
This my bedroom. Nigga, where the money at? What
you go sleep on the couch.
Yeah. Gun in your face. Like, that's what they did. Yeah. That's what they did to us. And so I think the pro is the con. I think we were loving people and I think that was great. But I think the con is we were loving people.
Right.
Too loving, so trusting.
Right.
Too trusting.
I would also say a con too is that just a lack of awareness now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of us not even aware of, of our lineage.
Yeah.
And where we come from. You know what I mean? And so I think a lot of people would, the ones that are connected to the land, they will fight harder.
Right.
Knowing like, hey, this is my birthright.
Right.
This don't belong. This belong to me, not you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's the issue too.
Yeah, because of course you would act like a visitor in your own home if you didn't know that was your home.
Right.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So if you didn't know that this was your homestead, you're going to be acting like a visitor. That's why a lot of black people be around here cutting up and wilding out and stuff like that. But then they paint us out like we some animals and we some savages and we so violent and we so this and that. But we welcomed you here with open arms. We wasn't always like that. We are very loving people, for real. Even when you talk about Southern hospitality, what's the first thing come to your mind, man? Like, what's the first, when people come from up north and they talk about the Southern hospitality, you're thinking about Big Mama.
Yep, I was about to say Big Mama. Yep.
You're thinking about that. You're thinking about that. She's cooking a big pot of whatever it is that she cooking and she gonna feed everybody.
Right.
She gonna feed everybody. It's that Southern hospitality.
Man, that's how my great-grandma was.
That's how my grandmother was. Fed the whole neighborhood. Yeah. She gonna feed she gonna feed you. And while she giving you this food, physical food, she also gonna give you some food for the soul. She gonna give you something for the road. She gonna drop some wisdom. She gonna drop some knowledge. She gonna give you some love. And if she gotta give you some constructive criticism, it's coming from a good place. She gonna give it to you though. She gonna be raw, but she gonna give it to you. That's how my grandmother was as well. So, you know, I just, that's the pros and the cons of the indigenous people.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
Alexander said, white people forced Christianity that wasn't even their religion to begin with on natives. Oh, Lord, I'm reading like a 3-year-old. Because I'm so back here. Y'all forgot my glasses today, by the way, too, so don't judge me. Hold on, Alex. White people forced Christianity that wasn't even their religion to begin with on the natives and Africans. They stole their native religion and gave them a modified version of the Bible as doctrination. She also said the natives' values were more Christian than the so-called Christians in Africa and in early America. That's why white people owe reparations. All right, Alex. Alex, listen. Is that the disconnect?
You know?
That's a mic drop. That's a mic drop. That's a mic drop right there.
Most definitely.
That's a mic drop right there, Alex.
So, matter of fact, let's bring them to it though.
Let's
so
bring
we talking
to
about
the
disconnect.
Well, first let me hit you with the you ain't know that.
You ain't know that.
Let me hit you with the you ain't know that. Okay, so for all my people that's saying, let's go back to Africa. We all from Africa. We all from there. Or a lot of people will say, you know where everybody really come from, right? Everything started from Africa, this, and that. Let me tell you something that you ain't know that. And you probably was taught this in school, but you probably forgot about it. Did you know that at some point, even if you look at the map, you look at the globe now, and you look at all the different continents, you can tell at some point they were all connected together. And they formed a supercontinent, which was called Pangea, right? So this was Pangea. So can you really say that we not all the same or all come from the same place? Because at some point, we were all connected on the same landmass.
Right.
So all this fight about everybody come from Africa or everybody come from here, it just doesn't make any sense when you really think about the fact that it was all formed one landmass.
Right.
Pangea, supercontinent. You know?
Yeah, right.
You ain't know that. Did y'all know that? You ain't know that.
You ain't know that.
You ain't know that.
They ain't know
You ain't know. They ain't know that. They lying. They ain't know that.
So we're gonna bring them to the disconnect.
What's the disconnect, J-No? What's the disconnect?
The disconnect is the fact that one, everybody gang banging on bacon.
Everybody gang banging.
And they think that, you know, that my section is right. My section is, you know what I'm saying?
Outwoke each other.
Right. Instead of being able to step back and look at the bigger picture.
Right.
I believe every organization has some good to it. And we need to infuse all of that.
Right.
All of it. Not, you know what I mean? And we need to chew the fat on what we need to throw away. You know what I mean?
Okay, so give us a breakdown.
So basically, I feel like we need to be as lawful as the Moors.
Okay.
Political as the Panthers.
Hold up, slow down.
Okay. Lawful as the Moors.
Let that sit. Lawful as the Moors. We need to be as lawful as the Moors.
Right. Political as the Panthers.
As political as the Panthers.
I mean, create our own organization and parties and stuff like that in the same way.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then just organize as the Muslims.
Just organized as the Muslims.
You know what I mean? And then build like Kemet.
And build like Kemet. I like it.
They was on some nation building.
They was.
I mean, and it's cool to talk about Kemet, but you know, and romanticize about Kemet. Right, you know what I'm saying? But we got to look at it in a modern day. You know what I'm saying? And we got to be modern in our approach. So that's that. And we got to go hard like them Israelites.
Yeah. Go hard like the Israelites. Ooh, they go. Hey, man, listen. The assertiveness. We got to go hard like them Israelites.
For each other, right? We got to stand on business.
I love that, yeah.
We got to stand on business, you know what I mean? And then make sure we keeping that information circulating just as the 5%ers.
The 5%ers, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Be on that knowledge.
Right. So, I mean, it was inclusive.
Supreme mathematics. It matters. It matters.
Right. So, you know, I would say kind of expand a little bit on the 5%ers. It's to the collective.
Yeah.
Let's get this information going to the collective.
Yeah.
While at the same time being exclusive.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the disconnect.
That's the disconnect. I agree. I think you ran it. I think you hit the home run with the disconnect. I don't even have to say it. You knocked it out the park.
Right, the phone and everything.
Well.
Yes, Lord. So let's go ahead and get a shout out to all these. You know, make sure y'all liking and subscribing.
I love that. Yeah, Jay, it was called Pangea. That's what you came in late. I really wish you could have been in for the live for the show. I really do, because I know you have a lot of insight and stuff. And your dad has so much wisdom. I went to go sit in and listen to your dad's sermon because him and my dad were really cool. So we ended up listening. So I know you got a whole lot of jewels to drop because I know your dad poured a whole lot into you. But go back and watch the show and comment. And we do interact with y'all. So y'all make sure do that.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And if y'all want to follow us on our formats, make sure you follow us on YouTube, IG, Facebook, and TikTok.
Everything.
Yeah, TikTok and Facebook is the Disconnect Podcast. IG and YouTube is the Disconnect Podcast _. So
and Spotify. Did you say Spotify?
Yeah. Well, our formats. Yeah, y'all. Subscribe to Spotify
YouTube.
too. Yeah, all that. Yeah.
We on all that. We on everything.
Every podcast format, y'all can check us out.
Absolutely. So absolutely.
That's it, y'all. We are the podcast that heals and builds.
That's right. Love y'all. Peace.
I have learned to piece together pieces that you broke. I can see through all of the deceitful things you wrote. I have managed cracking all the secrets to the codes. You swerved into my lane like you were sleeping on the road. Said we weren't indigenous and brought us here as slaves. Wrote yourself in her story and tore us out the page. Trying to cover up that you're the one that's out of place. Then wonder why my people wildin' out and in the rage. Bitch, you lied. We've been certified. My ancestors own this shit. I know that hurt your pride. I'm witnessing truth and lies unfold before my eyes. Prison in the flesh, oh what a time to be alive. Understand that white folks not our only enemies. We got those against us that still look like you and me. Just because you talk that talk don't mean you're fooling me. Cause I don't need a savior long as I stay true to me.